All right, I'm getting the "We Are Live" notification, although because it's a little janky at this point, I kind of set this up last minute like I usually do. I need to figure out a way of doing this and then just leave it alone, right? So let me know as usual if my audio is trash or whatever. I know the video is not that great. I'm using the webcam. For some reason, it's like zoomed in, so you're looking at your boy up close. I didn't plug in the DSLR because my capture card is not in this system because I'm too stubborn to turn my graphics card horizontal again because it looks so dang good vertically. So definitely choosing aesthetics over function in this case. Don't tell anybody else I did that. So what's going on? I just wanted to have this live stream kind of as usual on the Sunday nights that I usually do them, although I am slightly late because I'll confess I did take a brief nap for a few hours. It was a good nap. And I woke up and I said, oops, and then I sprinted to come up here and set up the stream. So I get lots of questions from you guys in these streams, and they are good questions for the most part, so I'm going to run through as many as I can. I see people asking about, let's see, what are we doing here? Do the fans at the back of your room work? That's a good question. So they used to work. They were good fans, but I had tons. NZXT had sent like a dozen of them, and so I was like, screw it. I'm gonna use two of them and put them up on the wall because that looks cool, I guess. And so that's what I did. I just cut the cables basically at the frame, so you can't see the cables. So in theory, if you connected, PWM ends, then these fans would work. I snip those off because who needs cables hanging from your wall? Let's see. Someone said webcam, baby. How's the lawsuit going? I'm going to make a separate video about that. I don't want to talk about the lawsuit right now, just because I'd rather sort all my eggs in my basket before just kind of blabbering about it. But we have a very precise way of approaching this, so I don't want you guys to think that I'm keeping you in the dark here. I will let you know. But it's not going to be something that I talk about very much more until everything is finalized. And I expect it to be really good for us, or at least it'll clear us. But there's a certain way we're going to do this, apart from just the motion to dismiss, which I've already submitted. But if you guys want more just kind of contextual stuff, you can follow me on Twitter for more of that. Like I posted the filing of the motion on Twitter, so you kind of know where we're standing now. There are other things that have occurred that are pretty serious that I have not talked about yet, and I won't do that until after all of this has settled. So there's more to the story, a lot more that I haven't told you, and we'll talk about that at a later date. But for right now, I want to keep things as is because I think talking about it anymore at this point is just going to kind of beat a dead horse. So we'll be good. Caleb says 60 FPS webcam. It's not technically 60 FPS. The webcam's 30. I'm just kind of upsampling. I always forget which one it is. But I'm outputting it to 60 FPS. I'm using the new NVIDIA encoder built into Streamlabs through OBS, and so I always try to use NVIDIA encoder just because it tends to, I know that the image quality used to not be as great as X264, but it tends to just handle itself much better on most of the systems that I build. So, you can play a game that's not, you can probably play like CSGO or something that's not Witcher 3 basically, and still be okay encoding on the same card, in my testing anyway. But when you encode on the CPU and you don't have enough threads or cores in general, and then you also play a game that is at least moderately CPU intensive, then it can be a problem. So yeah, I just do NVIDIA encoder. That's it. This is just the generic Logitech C920. I don't know why it's so zoomed in. I feel like it's got like a 50 mil crop on it, but it usually, that's a really narrow field. I almost feel like the whole thing is kind of crooked. Anyway, shout out to Pepsi for being today's thumbnail sponsor. She did so unwillingly, so just yeah, we'll kind of brush that under the rug. And yes, I totally used her as clickbait, so no shame there. Let's see, Bryce Smith. Whatever happened to your deep cool genome case? Did you like it while you used it? Did you ever have any problems with EIO cooler? No problems. I used it for as long as I could use it until I moved on to some other case. But what I said in that review video still stands. Callum said, Callum is complimenting me, and then he says, "It's nice that you don't have clickbait." And then, like, I literally admitted right when he typed that I use Pepsi as clickbait. I hope I didn't ruin your. I hope I didn't ruin that compliment at all. I do appreciate it. Like, everyone's gonna have a preference, right? Like, I know that I'm not the only tech tuber out there. I'm not the first tech tuber by any means, and I know there are plenty of tech tubers who are bigger than me, and they've done a lot of really cool stuff. And everyone's gonna have his or her competitive advantage. It's tough to differentiate yourself, and for those who choose to watch Science Studio, even if we're not the only channel you watch, I don't expect we're the only channel you watch. In fact, I encourage you, when you see review embargoes and stuff go up and there's like 10 or 20 videos regarding the same topic, I want you to watch more than one video, because a lot of the stuff baked into those reviews is opinionated. It's opinion based on fact. So we'll run the test. We'll usually all get around the same result, and then we'll talk about our personal experiences with the card or whatever we're talking about, and if we would buy it. And take Brian. So if Brian from Tech Yes City and I both get the exact same results, we get 200 FPS, and we're talking about a graphics card, let's say, and I get 200 FPS in Witcher 3, he gets 190, whatever, small differences depending on how we test in game and all that stuff. And then we get, 90 FPS in Apex Legends. It would never work like that, but you just roll with it. And so yeah, our results are exactly the same. And then our conclusions, usually at the end of the video. Would you buy this? Brian might say, no, I wouldn't buy this. I would go buy something on the used market and get much better value for it, and then I would wait a few years for this new product to drop. I might say, look, it's the best thing on the market. This is an awesome graphics card. If you need it, buy it. I'm not going to tell you not to. I'm not going to tell you it's a bad deal. It's just not as good as some of the other deals out there. And if you don't like buying used stuff, then there you go. Right? We're kind of basically saying the same thing, but I'm looking at this differently because I know that not everyone feels the same way. And Brian does that too. And that's important, right? Brian might just say, don't buy this card at all. And I might say, yeah, I think you should buy it. It's a pretty good deal. It's going to depend on how you approach this. Mr. P says I'm rambling. I'm not rambling. I'm talking specifically about reviews. And, well, I'd kind of go off on a tangent there. But it's important that you guys know that I'm not trying to get you to not watch other tech YouTubers or anything like that. To me, that's a disservice to you, and it's not really a service to me. Like, I don't care if you watch 5 or 10 other reviews, because at the end of the day, if you watch my channel too, then we get some of that joy, right? We get some of that love back monetarily. Usually it's fractions of pennies, but you get the point, right? So I don't care what your YouTube search history looks like. I don't care if you watch predominantly one channel and every now and then you come over to Science Studio and get a second opinion. That's okay. I just wanted you guys to know that while some might see all of us as competitors, and to an extent we are, I also think that it's important that you fill your brains with tons of viewpoints, because who doesn't like multiple viewpoints, right? It helps you make a more precise and concise decision. Are you excited about Navi? Yeah, I'm excited about it, but I don't know much about it. I mean, I know the premise of the technology. I understand like the I guess the goals of AMD with Navi, but we don't know much about it. So yeah, I'm excited. I mean, I'm excited for Navi, but you could say I'm excited for tech 10 years from now. So it's kind of a vague point. Let's see. Someone says, as long as you don't digress. But I digress. That's pretty good. Oh, good old Jay. I appreciate the answer. I was actually able to build my first computer largely thanks to your channel, Tech Yes City, Paul's Hardware, and Jay's 2 cents. I'm going to put a video up about it. Awesome. I appreciate that, Bryce. Good that you got multiple viewpoints, and I'm glad that you chose Science Studio as one of them. Rack says you're from Lafayette, right? The answer is no. I am from Florida. I've lived in Florida pretty much my whole life. I went to school. I went to college in Lafayette. In Louisiana. So I went there for my undergrad, and then I came back to Florida, and I did my graduate studies here in Florida online at the University of Louisiana. Let's see, does PCI 4.0 affect M.2 read and write speeds? Well, so the M.2 itself is going to have its own theoretical limit, and then you're going to be also limited by the interface. PCIe 4.0, I'm sure, is going to I don't know what the specifications are. I know it's going to be higher than PCIe 3, obviously. But if the interface was a bottleneck, then PCIe 4 will technically make your M.2s faster, assuming that the M.2 is not its own inherent bottleneck. So because you could put, consider... Let's consider like a cheaper M.2 NVMe drive. It's not a Samsung drive, but it's got really fast reads and okay writes. It's like a 3,500 megabyte per second reads and 1,500 megabyte per second writes. So that's okay, right? If it's a 4-lane NVMe, though, there are better drives out there. A lot of Samsung and WD drives, for example, are usually really good. I believe the cap, I'd have to go back and watch my own video about the subject because we talked about these limits. But I believe the cap is around, I want to say it's 4,000, I think it's 4 gigabits per second. It's something like that. I don't remember what the interface cap is, but it's something like that up there. So if NVMEs have a theoretical limit of like 6 gigabits per second, and then the interface is only going to support up to 4 gigabits per second, then yes, moving from that interface to a newer one with higher limits is going to result in faster drive speeds. But for the most part, the interface is going to be, you're going to have plenty of leadway with the interface, and it'll be the drive itself that is limiting. So usually it takes time for those drives to catch up to the new standard. So I'd have to look more into PCIe 4, but I mean, assuming you're talking about drives that connect via that interface, then yeah, you would notice faster drive speeds if the drive in question supported speeds up to that limit. It's double the bandwidth of PCIe 3. Yeah, so you're going to have a lot more headroom, and then I expect NVMe drives and the like, PCIe drives, all of that. I mean, they're all kind of by the same interface. Those will all, eventually get to some new theoretical cap. Let's see. Mamapi says, I came for the cat. Show us the cat. No idea where she is. Pepsi. I think she knows when I live stream, and she just decides to split. I don't know if cats normally get like lonely. I feel like cats could kind of do everything on their own by themselves and be okay. But I mean, it's kind of hard for me to overlook the fact that a lot of animals are still social creatures. So when I leave the apartment and then I come back after 4 or 5 hours, usually when I open the door, she's right there. Like she'll sleep right in front of the door, kind of like a dog. And I never really had a cat do that. I think a part of it has to do with the fact that, especially when Lisa's not here or when Lisa goes out with me, she has nothing here. Like she just sleeps, So someone asked if ray tracing is worth it. I have many videos on that subject. I'd rather you watch those videos because I get more in depth in the technology, and if I do think of it. Someone says, dude, focus is on the mic instead of you. Actually, it's not. It's just it's the same. I'm literally right next to the mic. The mic just looks sharper because the mic has little rivets and stuff. It's a webcam. It's not going to be anything fantastic. Unless it's autofocusing, but it shouldn't. There's nothing I could do. In focus, the same thing. I'm literally next to the mic. Ancient asked about the lawsuit. Again, I'm not talking about the lawsuit anymore until video comes up. We're waiting for stuff to kind of unfold, and then I'll talk about it. Is it true that 1650 is coming this week? Thoughts on the card? No idea. I wasn't in for the embargo for the 1660 or the 1660 Ti. I do have those cards, and I used the 1660 in a video. I expect I'll do a dedicated review on at least the Ti. But I wasn't in the loop for the initial launch of those cards, so I probably won't be in it again later. So it means I'll be late to the initial launch and the videos. Usually what I do is I wait for like a month for the market to kind of die down, and then I'll pick it back up. Let's see. If you took a laptop to a shop to have a keyboard replaced in the shop, had kept it for over 2 months, and then the computer just completely does not work, and the guy tells you he can't fix it. I don't know what that was in relation to. Were you talking about something specifically? No, I don't see it. Candelario Martinez sent a $2 super chat. I appreciate that. It helps. Hopes that this helps in the battle against Miss Grace, Grace Computers is the name of the company. But I do appreciate that. I know what you're talking about. Let's see here. You guys, iKing says, oh, so the quality of the cam just sucks. Yeah, it's a webcam. If you want to watch some of the older streams, I use my DSLR and it's like super crispy. But I didn't want to set it up. I don't have a dedicated capture card in this system yet, and I don't have room for it because the cards turn vertically. I talked about this early in the live stream. Let's see. I could see the 1650 or the Ti being a bit faster than the RX 570, but at a cheaper price. Who knows? I could be wrong. What's going on, Mr. KF Gaming? Good to see you. Those 4 stars are looking mighty fine next to your name. And I think you're right. Look, the 1650, let's just looking at it like a 1050 or 1050 Ti. I think, yeah, there's definitely a chance that it could be better than the RX 570. I don't know if the price is going to be cheaper than I mean, you can get RX 570s now for like 120, 140 bucks. Like, they're pretty cheap. So it's probably not going to be cheaper than RX 570, in my opinion. I think it's going to be around 160, 180, 200. Well, not 200 bucks. It's going to be, I think, sub 200, but it's barely going to be sub 200. That's my opinion. Let's see. Let's see. Will you do a video explaining how to set up HDR for in-game settings? Probably not. There's plenty of tutorials out there already for it. I don't think HDR is like something to get super hyped up about. Like when I'm playing Call of Duty or PUBG, I could give a crap if my contrast is like enhanced by 10%. Like I just don't care. The monitor I'm using right now to live stream this is my gaming monitor. I just got it in. But I'm going to try using it for about a week or two just to game with, and then I'm going to do my review on it. And this monitor's color reproduction is pretty trash, not going to lie. It looks, let me see if it's TN. It looks like it's TN. It behaves like a TN panel. But, you know, TN technology's come a long way. I would say most of the time I don't care at all, unless the colors are just totally blown out of proportion. I just don't really care that much about it. I think a bigger concern of mine is refresh rate, and then a slightly less pertinent concern is resolution, and then color and all that crap comes kind of later in my eyes. So yeah, I'm just not that big a color reproduction junkie. It matters when I'm like editing. Obviously, I want to make sure that my videos don't look super blue or, you know, warm or anything like that when I publish. But that's really the extent of it. Like, as long as the video doesn't look like it came out of like a blue filter or something, and we're okay. Yeah, I mean, look, when you go with an IPS or VA panel, and then you have to step back to TN, like it sucks. It does. You know, if someone's only used TN for their entire life, then TN's going to be fine because that's all you know. Even if you only game on IPS panels every now and then, you're still used to TN. But when you make the switch, when you fully switch from one technology to another, we have videos talking about the difference in technologies, by the way, if you want to know how they work and stuff. When you make the switch and you totally readjust to a new technology, and it's a good technology, like VA or IPS, then you're going to notice the difference going from that again back to VA. VA is just... or not VA, sorry, when you go back to TN. It's kind of the same with refresh rates, right? Like, I have people tell me all the time, like, oh, 100 FPS plus is just marketing hype, doesn't matter. Like, there's a small difference. And yeah, sure, like, the law of diminishing returns kind of plays a part in that, like, the higher you go past 120 FPS, I would say, the less it really is noticeable. Like, at least it has a couple 240 hertz panels out front. And those 240 hertz panels are super smooth. But you know what? Going from that back to that 165 hertz right there, that panel, it's an Asus panel, I don't really notice much of a difference. I would say I'm pretty acclimated to high refresh rate panels at this point. I've gamed on several different models. And for the most part, anything past 144 hertz is just kind of, you know, it's nice, but I don't notice much of a difference going from that to 165 or 144. Now, from 144 to 100 hertz, I notice quite a difference, and I'm using a 100 hertz ultra wide panel here. 100 hertz is definitely better than 60, but it's no 144 or 120. There's just I can notice that 20 hertz delta, and then going from 100 hertz or even 120 or 144 down to 60, and that just hurts my eyes. And that sounds super elitist, but when you're used to a refresh rate and then you have to drop back down to something that is primitive by, you know, in comparison, then it sucks. So that's why I've kind of always been a refresh rate junkie. I I don't prioritize resolution because I think that the way the image feels, the way it responds, is more important than how pixel dense the image is, especially when you're gaming. Mario G says, bro, talk to us. I've been answering your questions, Mario. If you just got here, then you're probably confused, but I do this every Q&A. Let's see. Yeah, see, Bambi says TN monitors suck. Bambi's a little elitist over there. I'm just joking with you, Bambi. Good to see you again. We have, let's see, Trojan, help. I just got a Corsair Carpine 275R acrylic. I have 5 fans and a 240mm AIO. What's the best fan configuration for maximum airflow? Never tested the 275R, so I really can't help you. I can tell you that for the most part, mounting your AIO up top is going to be good. If you can try to mount it up top, do that, and then get yourself some intake fans. You got 5 there. There you go. Don't overcomplicate it. It's not going to make a huge difference either way. It's really not going to make a huge difference. If you want to know, just YouTube it, Google it, whatever. You'll find people who have the exact same or close to the same scenarios that they've run into that you are right now, and you can fix it up. Let's see here. Caesar asked if I smoke. The answer is no. I've never smoked. I think it's a disgusting habit, and I'm glad I never. I don't know. I wasn't even tempted. Like they have those. Like campaigns. Like looking back on this stuff when I was in elementary school and middle school, like it's kind of comical. But like we had this program called SWAT, Students Working Against Tobacco. And, they try to instill at you at a young age that smoking's bad, smoking dope, whatever, is bad. And look, I mean, the cigarettes thing, I totally understand. Like, smoking cigarettes is just, to me, it's disgusting, and it does no good for you in the long run. So it just doesn't make any sense to me to get into it. On top of that, like, my allergies just flare up like crazy. Yeah, DARE, there you go. I forget what DARE stands for, but I know... DARE. I feel like that's an acronym too that we had in school. I don't know. Some of you guys know what I'm talking about. Anyway, yeah, I just never got into it. I think it's nasty. How do you get into something that you think is gross? So yeah. How much of a role SWAT or DARE played into that? I don't think it played much of a role at all. I think it was just a way for us and our friends to kind of laugh and goof off in class. But anyway. Hey, Andrew, I already talked about the lawsuit. I'm not going to talk about it much more in the live stream. Let's see. We are going to, let's see, IPS 144 is the best combo if you have the cash to spend, but high refresh rate team will be fine unless you do a lot of photo editing, etc. Yeah, IPS 144 is really good. I will say I like VA too. VA is a really good alternative, and we've talked about the differences between VA and IPS in dedicated videos. So I know how the technology works, and the downsides really to both. In my experience, IPS panels in general have slightly worse ghosting, and part of that has to do with the technology, right? When those, interplane switching, like they call it that because the crystals have to rotate, and depending on the charge through each pixel, that crystal basically opens up a certain degree and allows light to pass. The reason why IPS panels don't completely shut off, unless you have like zone lighting or something like that, is because light's going to find its way barely through and around those crystals. But VA, I found, for whatever reason, is slightly better for ghosting, although I've had some really bad VA panels, and they all ghost. I've seen really good VA panels as well that are pretty cheap, that are really good at fixing the ghosting issue. Let's see here. Callum is like spamming Ryzen 3000 A320. I have no idea. I wouldn't do it. I mean, it's just A320 chipsets are really, really stripped down. So there you go. Greg, do you have an opinion on Ryzen with video editing and Avid Media Composer? I don't use Avid Media. I use Premiere, so I can't answer that. Is the live stream RTX? I'm using an RTX card to stream. I'm using the NVIDIA encoder, so technically you're seeing some RTX action. There's no ray tracing in this, obviously, but yeah, I like to use an NVIDIA encoder. Let's see, possibly reviewing the AlphaCool Ice Bear Extreme anytime soon. Good point, Ozzy. I need to do that. I need to talk to David, because we were talking about that at CES. I know a few people have gotten samples, but it's more or less my fault. I never reached out and got him to send me one. So I need to send him an email. Thanks for reminding me. Let's see here. The picture behind me moved. Which picture behind me? They all have been in the same place for several months. Let's see. What do we have here? Is Samsung BDI RAM still worth the price upgrade from low latency RAM with Ryzen? Well, some low latency RAM or some RAM that can hit high frequencies that's designed specifically for Ryzen is Samsung BDI Ryzen, as far as I know. Like you can buy some G-Skill kits and whatever that are finely tuned for the Ryzen platform, especially Zen 1, right? Because Zen has just a stubborn habit of refusing to lock in XMP profiles. So Zen Plus fixed that. For the most part, I haven't really had an issue at all running XMP on the newer stuff. But getting that RAM frequency on the Zen platform, B350, X370 chipsets, up to 3,000 or so megahertz, it's a pain in the butt. And so it would matter there. I would choose the AMD specific kits if you're sporting an AMD platform, a Ryzen platform. Let's see. Someone says the picture moved. I don't know which one you all are talking about. Any news about any new AMD hardware? Not yet. We're going to hear a lot of good stuff at Computex, I expect, so stay tuned for that. That will be very interesting. Yeah, let's see. Someone said the picture is moving. Turn around, hurry. Is something moving? King RPG. I'm going to say howdy until you respond with howdy. Howdy. There you go. What's going on, Mr. DJ? Says, how you doing, brother? 90-inch TV or 4K projector? I would choose a TV over a projector any day. That's just my opinion. So, yeah, I think 4K projectors, I've seen them. I haven't seen, admittedly, like the really, really expensive ones. But I have friends that have 4K projectors, and they don't look as good to me as a TV. I mean, obviously, like it's I would say an ideal. I know, like when you go to movie theaters, right? All those are 4K projectors. Well, probably higher than that. They use the what are they called? The something Max, IMAX, whatever. The IMAX projectors. I can't remember. I'm thinking straight. I should know this. I'm gonna go see Endgame soon. We are at a point now where I think that just projectors and TVs are getting really close to each other in terms of picture quality, but the projector it's not there yet. So if I could choose between the two, I'd choose a TV, assuming they have the same price. Okay, let's see. Thoughts on the Ring Trios for thermal take? Want to use 6 for my loop. Yeah, so I've used the Ring fans in a couple of builds. The reason why I don't use them all the time is because I don't really like the fact that the LEDs don't diffuse in the fans very well. So some fans have really great diffusing properties. They put like the plastic that's like transparent, and yeah, that's good, right? But some fans have a difficult time kind of diffusing the LEDs. So all you see is like these little colored sections, little zones, and I don't really like that. So that's the only reason why I don't get the Ring fans. They're good. They don't get too loud, and they're mostly PWM, which is nice. But I think aesthetically they could have done a better job diffusing the light. So once they diffuse them better, and they don't use that weird logo that like TT, it's just a really big logo. It doesn't look that great in my opinion. Then I would consider them for personal builds. Stefan says, congrats on the baby, bro. Thank you. We appreciate that. Do wish Lisa was here with us. I would love to have her in this live stream. We actually wanted to do one and announce it on the live stream before she left. It just, things got in the way, and yeah. So not sure when we're gonna get to see each other again, apart from when she actually has the baby. So I might be living here by myself for a while, but that's okay. Dark Mode says, wait, Greg is pregnant. Let's see. Who's your favorite PC modder? I mean, who's it? Like, I've modded PCs before. I don't really know what qualifies. I think if you're talking about companies that like mod PCs for a living, then I would say I really like the work that Mod My Mods does. I like Envious Mods. I'm doing there's quite a number of them I'm following on Twitter. But yeah, I follow a lot of what Mod My Mods does, and they have like their own store, right? You can like buy stuff from them, like a third party retailer. And then I like Envious Mod stuff. I'm trying to think of a few more. I feel like just naming two isn't really doing its service, but anyway, there are plenty of them out there. Uh, Eric says Greg is pregnant. Oh gosh. Let's see. Trojan, is the 2600 worth it in terms of features of Ryzen 2 from Ryzen 2 over a 17? Okay. So Ryzen 2 technically is not what I mean, I know what you're talking about, but like Ryzen 2 or Zen 2 is the stuff that's coming out around Computex time. What you're talking about, the 2600 falls into the Zen Plus family. And if you're talking about whether or not it would be good enough to stream, the 2600 is good enough. If you want extra gaming performance at a slight disadvantage when it comes to severe multitasking, then the 2600 is a better chip. If you want a purely multitasking optimized chip, if you're going to be using all 16 threads a lot, which most games won't do, Adobe Premiere export times for both CPUs. Actually, I think those exact CPUs are 1700, or it might have been the 1700X, but I never overclocked super high. And then the 2600. So I invite you to check those out if you haven't already. I think that will answer your question. Let's see. Oh, 26 London says, I just dropped a like, and turned on post notifications. I already like this channel. If you came here from if you haven't been here before and you just jumped in on the live stream and subscribed, that's pretty dope. I do appreciate that, especially during the live streams, because like these aren't super big. Like we don't, I don't promote the heck out of live streams. Like we have like a couple hundred people watching. It's good enough. I don't, if we have thousands of people watching live streams, then I really won't be able to get through many of the questions in the chat. So in that sense, like obviously having a big stream will be cool, but in this sense, I can keep it more personal, and I can, answer specific questions and kind of make sure I answer them thoroughly enough. So that's nice. I think that's a plus side to the live streams. Okay, I answered, oh no, I see it right there. So Youngjin Kim, Corsair LL fans, those look really good. I like Corsair. I really like fans that have the LEDs in the center. Actually, the fans that are in this system right here, these are the Fractal Prism. I think they're called the Prism fans. And they sent a kit along with a couple other things, and I put those in that rig, and I really like those fans as well. So any addressable RGB LED fan that has excellent diffusion properties, and that I would say preferably has LEDs in the center ring that kind of radiate out from the fan blades, I think those are really good looking. Let's see here. Justin says, hey man, what's going on, Justin? Good to see you. Appreciate you stopping by. We have, let's see here. I'm thinking about getting an i7 8700K with an RTX 2060 because of my budget, but should I wait for Navi GPUs? If you're building a rig around mid-July, I don't know when Navi GPUs are coming, to be completely honest. I don't follow the rumors and crap. So, look, I get this question like every live stream. I always have to go through this. I don't know if you need to build right now or if you even need to build in July. Like if you want to build mid-July and you're set on that date and you need the PC in mid-July, then build in mid-July and build with the best that you have at your disposal. If you want to wait, but I can't tell you if you should wait because I don't know how badly you need a system. So in a nutshell, that's all really the info I can give you on that, because you're ultimately going to be the one that decides when and how to spend your money. We have videos talking about where I would spend money, where I think the most value is, but at the end of the day, if you need something now, you have no choice but to build now, right? Assuming you can. So let's see. I saw another question about Stingray says, Greg, is YouTube your full-time job? Yep. I have several videos talking about different aspects of the channel. We have our finance video. If you want to check out Science Studio Finances, where we make our money, how all that works, you can check out that video. I think that'll be a cool insight for you. Let's see. DBD Christopher, how would you go about doing a computer repair business from home instead of a business location? It'd be tough. You'd have to So if I was working out of my home for that and it was like client based, then I would try my best to keep it remote, in the sense that like I don't want everyone knowing where I live. So I would probably meet these people in public, or I would meet them like, I don't know. Maybe I would meet them at their house, right? Because instead of 50 people knowing where I live, I could go to every person's house one time, and like, who cares? Like, I'm going to people's houses. It's part of my job. It's no different than calling an AT&T service guy to work on your internet or whatever. So I would probably go to their houses and just like comp it, or like, include that in the charge, assuming they don't live far away. And then I would, troubleshoot it there with them. They could explain to me what was wrong. And then you could take the PC back home with you, work on it. So you could work at it out of your home. And then you could, I don't know, take it back to their house and drop it off and have them test it or whatever. I know it's kind of a pain having to go back and forth, but that's really the only way I can think of off the top of my head that would not include strangers coming to your house every week or so to pick up or drop off a broken PC. So, no, it's tough. It's it's tough. It was really funny. Let's see. What do we have here? Have you seen the new NHU12A? I actually have one in the closet, in my inventory. Sorry, I meant to say my inventory closet. It's definitely a bedroom closet, but I turned this into an office. So, but yeah, it's in there. I haven't done the video yet because cooler reviews, frankly, kind of suck because you have to swap so many coolers out and you have to keep everything is the same as possible. Good thing is now we have those Thermal Grizzly Carbonite pads, which will really standardize the thermal paste, or like the thermal pad application process. So it's pretty black and white in that sense now, whereas before you would have to, try to apply thermal paste as smooth as possible and as consistently as possible between cooler tests. So the fact that we have Carbonite now is really good. We have a review on Carbonite if you haven't seen that video already. Let's see. Ali499, do you watch Game of Thrones? No, I haven't watched any Game of Thrones yet. I like watching series like that. I do. It just takes a lot for me to get into it, like to actually commit up front. I used to watch a lot of the Showtime shows that came on. When I had Netflix, I started watching Spartacus. That was a really good series. And then Tudors, which is about like Henry VIII in England. That was a really good series. I've also watched... Oh, I'm trying to think. Obviously, like Breaking Bad, stuff we've done, like we've paid homage to on the channel. Breaking Bad was really good, probably my favorite TV show of all time. But so, like I would say I'm not like a huge TV show buff, but once I get involved, I'm like all in, I'm fully dedicated. So it's it's gonna take me a little bit to get into it. And now that the last season's out too, I can actually watch them all from start to finish and not have to wait for weeks. So that would be nice as well. Let's see here. What games do you play? Not asking because I want you to play, but because because he wants a smart person's perspective reviewing which game is the best. So the games I play, I mean, you're not really going to get anything intelligence-wise out of this question, but I play City Skylines a lot because I like tycoon-style games. I play Call of Duty a lot, but the older Call of Duties because I don't know. Again, it takes me a long time to commit to a new game. I play PUBG a lot. We play PUBG with viewers all the time in the Discord chat. And then I also play, I'm trying to think. I'm missing a couple. I think that's it. Battlefield 5 every now and then, GTA 5 every now and then, like small, but like not consistently. But the first three I named are the ones that I play the most. Let's see, I'm gonna swing up. Okay. Hey Greg, love your videos. You're an awesome YouTuber. I appreciate that. Here's my question. Oh gosh, probably should have read that before. I am putting you in timeout. Evan, okay, so I had 100 megabits per second Wi-Fi and downgraded it to 35 megabit per second Wi-Fi because of the cost, but I get lower ping in game by a good 5-7 milliseconds with the 35 megabit per second Wi-Fi. Okay, that's weird. My laptop is in the same place. It's a really weird thing. I mean, anytime you introduce another barrier or another bridge, your latency typically goes up. But I mean, it's very small increments. But what might be happening, I don't know how you're downgrading it. Okay. So you're just saying within your ISP, you just called in and downgraded it from 100 to 35. That's a question for Will. I wouldn't know for sure. That's kind of strange. But Will would know that. Will's in the chat. Will can answer the question. Hey, Will, answer Evan's question. He's the one asking about the 100 megabit per second Wi-Fi. Let's see. You think it would be possible to resolve more RAM into an HP stream? I want an HP stream with 8 gigs of RAM and will do what needs to be done to it. I don't know what an HP stream is. Is that like a laptop? I've never heard of that model. Anyway, if it's soldered RAM, then no. You're kind of screwed there. I wouldn't try it. Not worth it. Let's see. Scrolling down. Okay. I don't know how to say this. Pupty pants? I have no idea how to say that. Do you ever get pain in your arms or hands from working with or on PCs every day? If so, how do you cope? The answer is no. I mean, I'm not like the most in shape dude, but like I'm not, one giant jelly roll. So I can kind of manage in the office. This is not manual labor by any means. So yeah, it's not that big a deal. Let's see, scrolling down. So London says have to go. Good night. Thanks for stopping by, London. Let's see. Have you ever played the Division 2 yet? I have the Division 2. I actually got it from AMD Direct, or well, actually not AMD. I got it from Power Color because they were including that game, Resident Evil 2, and then Devil May Cry 5 in a bundle when they were selling their Vega 56 cards. And so I got him to send me one of those keys as well, the bundle keys, so I could download the other games. The problem is it didn't stick. It's not in my Steam library anymore, so I'm going to have to try that again. Let's see. Mode. Hey, Greg, was wondering. Let's see. I just lost the question. I'm going to scroll back up here. Yeah, okay, here we go. I was wondering if you could help me as to why my Aorus 2080 Ti runs at 85C in-game menu. I feel like it's way too high for a main menu. Okay, so I would check your frame rate in-game. Like, most of the menus are going to be locked to 60 FPS, but I don't really have a lot of context in your question as to whether or not that's a normal temperature when you're in-game. I don't have a 2080 Ti Aorus. I have a 2080 Aorus, and that thing runs at like 65C. So like this one's really chill. 85C is pretty high for RTX cards in my experience. Unless you're overclocking manually, and even then, like unless your case has terrible airflow properties, it shouldn't be too high. But check your frame rate in that in-game menu and see if the frame rate, how sometimes when you're in menus or loading screens, the frame rate jumps up to like 3000 FPS, which is just like a hype, but usually it's like a flat screen. But if it's like pushing the full frame rate that you could theoretically get in-game, also in the menu, then your graphics card is working to push out those frames. Like it's no different. It might store some of that in VRAM, but I'm not sure if it's going to know to store the entire loading menu in VRAM. I don't know how that works specifically. I'd have to see the game in question. So I'd say that's not normal. I would look into the frame rate for sure. Let's see. Yes, the ACS says that 83 max is pretty much as high as it should ever go, but most of them reach only 70C. And that's, yeah, mine reaches like 65 to 70C. So shouldn't be that high. Maybe you want to like reseat the cooler itself atop the GPU, make sure thermal paste is good. How often should thermal paste be replaced? This is a question that people are going to answer differently depending on their own personal experience with it, but like I would say every year would be a good practice. You could probably drop it down to 6 months or whatever, but most thermal paste will start to lose their, thermal properties after a year or two. A lot of those cards will get really, like they'll have really crusty thermal compounds in between them to begin with, and those will typically go bad even quicker. So that's why I say a year, just in case. But I'm sure you'll find people in chat that say, oh, every 6 months you should change, or every 3 months. I don't think it's worth changing every 3 months. Okay, let's see here. Oh, someone said read Envious Mods comment. Is Envious Mods in here? Ah, there he is. He says, "Hey, buddy, I heard you're one of my favorite modders, or heard I was one of your favorite modders." Thank you so much. Yeah, dude. No, I follow you on Twitter. I'm sure you know I follow you on Twitter, and I try to every time I see one of your posts or whatever, I try to like them because you do really good stuff, and that's cool. I'm surprised you found out that I mentioned you that quick, but that's awesome. Thanks for stopping by, my man. Are Corsair H115i stock thermal paste good? Should I buy one? A good question. I think you could get by with the H115i stock compound. Usually, if they're better coolers, like Corsair's not going to cripple their own components with crap thermal compound. It just wouldn't make sense. But that said, I've seen really crappy paste on AIOs that are decent AIOs. So to be safe, I would say, yeah, get it, because like you never know when you're going to have to reseat that AIO, and it's not good to reuse thermal paste over and over like that, because you're going to get air bubbles trapped and stuff, and that can affect heat transfer rates and what have you. So I would buy it it's like what, $5-10, like just throw it in your cart and have it on the side in case you need it. Roger says, hi, here from Sweden. Roger, you are looking mighty fine with that star next to your name. I appreciate your membership and your support on the channel. It goes a long way. It really does. Let's see. Joe keeps asking if I have any certifications like CCNA. I don't. I don't need them. Not for what I do. $1 bill. Are you going to I almost said Computex. Are you going to Computex this year? Of course we're going to Computex this year. And we're excited to bring you guys a lot of cool content. We're going to try to switch it up again. I always try to do something a little different. Give you guys some behind the scenes action. My brother is actually going with me this year. And he will be the cameraman, and he's going to be kind of vlogging the entire trip on his own channel that he's trying to start up. So I'll try to give him some plugs if you guys want to know what happens behind the scenes at these events, kind of what we do, hang out, where we go eat, stuff like that, the parties, all that stuff. Then I think he'll be vlogging a lot of that. So you get to see a lot of behind the scenes stuff on top of the cool tech that we always try to show off every year at these events. Will spam on the Discord. If you guys have not joined the Discord, I encourage you to do that. It is 100% free. It'll cost you $0.00, and it's just a good way to, communicate with all of us. We share the Discord with Brian from Techie City. If you don't know Brian, you're living under a rock, and I encourage you to jump in there. Let's see. Hey, Greg, I just entered my Mac Pro with a dual 980 Ti hybrids into the Builds.gg AIO competition. Would love a shout out. Well, I guess is that your shout out? I guess so. Go check out Brandon Cooper's AIO build on builds.gg. You guys know builds.gg. We promoted them before. It's like a really finely tuned Instagram for PC builders. Like that's the best I can really describe it off script. Like it's got a really nice search engine. You can search for builds based on like color, and I feel like I'm giving them like a sponsored spot here, but like it's actually a really nice platform for people to share their builds. And I was talking to one of the creators of it, and I want to start uploading each one of my builds there just to have like an archive of the build, because a lot of these get torn down in a few weeks. So it'd be nice to have pictures of each build kind of as I move through inventory and stuff. But yeah, anyway. West, what's going on, West? Good to see you. He says, hello, Greg. Joe says, thanks for answering the question. Love the channel. Your reviews are awesome, really helpful. I appreciate that, Joe. Sorry it took me so long to answer your question, but I do appreciate your support, even if it's just viewership. That is all I ask. That it really does help. Let's see, Shantanu, I guess, is that how you say your name? I apologize if I mispronounced it. Hey, is Corsair Carbide's 100R a good case? And thanks, you and some other tech YouTubers have helped me a lot in PC building. I'm glad I could be a part of that help. The Corsair Carbide 100R, I have not built in it. Pepsi, what are you? Oh. Let me go get the cat. Pepsi. Really? Come here. Come. Come here. Oh, come here. Oh. Okay. You gotta say hi to everybody. You're gonna say no. Okay. You're gonna say hi to everybody. You know, of all cats like that I've ever interacted with, she does not like being held. And that's unfortunate. You're a good kitty when you want to be, but then you go all teenager on me. She's like 1.5 years, I think. So in cat years, it's basically teenage years. And she's going crazy all the time and shedding insanely, like just a ton. Like she sheds all the time. Cat fur is everywhere. She's only an indoor cat. Is she seriously going back? Hey, get out of there. You better. Hey, She's gonna go back in the box. I have a I have a computer box sitting over there, and it's actually for that Optiplex build, and it's just sitting there empty right now. And yeah, she decides whenever she wants to jump in there and start chewing on the styrofoam. So yeah. I think it's about time I showed Pepsi in this live stream because I totally used it for clickbait and thumbnail. So live streams are one of the only things I'm not going to. Live streams are one of the things that I'm going to shamelessly clickbait if I have to. Because look, we don't have many people jump into these. This is not a professional setting or anything like that. But I figured I would give it a shot and see if people clicked on the video just because Pepsi was in the thumbnail. Are you excited for Halo on PC? Good question. I really liked Halo. I played Halo 3, Halo Reach. Like, gosh, I played pretty much like my late high school, mid to late high school years. I played a ton of Halo. Actually, that's not even fair. I played it from middle school through high school. And I had Xbox One, Xbox 360, and I always played. I loved it. So yeah, the fact that it's coming to PC will be nice, but I'm not going to speak too soon because we don't know exactly how well it's going to play yet and what features are involved. So we'll see. I'd like to hold my my official opinion on the game for after I actually get to play it. So, let's see. Robert says, dealing with a cat is like dealing with a headstrong toddler. That is so true. Oh gosh, and I haven't even I don't have kids yet. Lisa's pregnant, so we're gonna have a kid soon. We think it's gonna be a boy, but either way, I think boy or girl at that toddler age when they start getting independent, they're a little difficult to deal with. And I'm not even a parent yet, and I'm saying that. So wow, I have a lot in store in a few months. We'll see. Envy says, I'm all about that Halo. Only reason I still have an Xbox. And look, that's cool that you even said that because a lot of people were like, oh, you still have a console, but you build PCs for a living. What's that about? But there are some console exclusives that are really good. Like, I love Gran Turismo. I've played Gran Turismo pretty much my entire life, starting from Gran Turismo, the original one, on the PlayStation, up through Gran Turismo Sport, or GT Sport, which is now on the PS4. I still have that PS4. It's sitting in the living room. I actually bought it for Lisa because she likes playing consoles every now and then too. And yeah, I mean, just I don't buy it because I prefer playing console over PC. I buy it because the consoles that I have exclusives that I can't play on computer. And I just, there's nothing wrong with sitting down on a couch with a controller far away from a TV and just relaxing. With a computer, you got to sit right in front of it, right? You got to go all in. But there's a casual aspect, a casual approach to console gaming that only really HT even then they have to be like gaming PCs, can offer. So yeah, there's a case there. Julian says, congrats, Greg. My second girl is due in August. Congratulations. Ours is due in October. I was hoping it would be around my birthday, but it looks like it's going to be a few weeks early. So that's okay. Same month. That's still pretty cool. We can have like a combo party. Maybe that would be pretty fun. Meryl OTG, $5 super chat. I appreciate that, Meryl. Do we have any updates on legal issues? I've talked about this earlier in the live stream. I feel bad because you sent me a super chat, but I don't want to talk much more about the court case at this point. We're going to do. I've already submitted a motion to dismiss. If you want to, stay more up to date on that stuff, you can follow me on Twitter. If you don't have a Twitter, I'm sorry. That's just my medium, my media outlet at this point. But that's where I post a lot of the more concurrent, up-to-date stuff. The case has not been dropped yet. But hopefully our motion to dismiss is granted, or whatever the official term is, accepted by the judge in the case, because I don't think that Indiana has jurisdiction in small claims over a business that operates in Florida. Or a person that lives in Florida. So, because he's suing me and he's suing my business. So we'll see where that goes. But for now, I'm going to keep quiet and just kind of let things play out. There's a lot more to the story. I said this earlier. A lot more has happened since then that you guys don't know about yet. Pretty serious stuff. So we're going to wait to kind of talk about all of this at the end once it's all said and done. Hopefully, I don't expect this will actually go to, I don't expect we'll actually have to go to court and I'll have to defend myself. But if I do, I will, and I think I'm more than prepared for it. Yeah, we're trying to kind of fizzle this out legally as quickly as possible because I just think it's a big waste of time and, frankly, a stupid suit. So that's all I'm going to say. Twitter is for babies. Discord is for adults. Yeah, but Discord and Twitter are two totally different things. Like, you can't really compare them. But I do both. So I guess I'm a baby and an adult at the same time. Let's see here. Yeah, sustained is the term. Thank you, the captain says. A motion to dismiss is sustained. That's cool. That sounds very lawyery. Have you ever tried Wallpaper Engine? It's amazing. I have not. Francis, what's your preference, symmetric versus asymmetric analog sticks? That's a good question. I'm going to show you what my answer is by holding up a PS4 controller. Symmetric. That's my way of doing things. Look, I've played, Nintendo, even the Xbox controllers. To me, they just don't, like the new Xbox controllers, I'm pretty sure are symmetric. Are they? No, they're not. They're not symmetric. I can't even remember. I'm just so used to PlayStation controllers that they have to be symmetric. It's natural. Well, you can't see it there. It's natural to hold it like this for me. Like some people, hold it higher, blah, blah, blah. But I feel more in control of the analogs when, they're both symmetric, when they're both right beside each other. So that's just me. Captain says he worked in the legal field. So yeah, okay, there you go. You're already predisposed to know what I'm talking about. Let's see here. Well, an i5 bottleneck an RTX 2080 or GTX 1080. It'll bottleneck the GTX 1080 a lot less. They're two very different cards. But it depends on the game. I can't really answer the question without context, Sanjeev. Let's see, a couple more questions here. It's about 10:30. We've been doing this for about an hour now. Time goes by so fast when we live stream. 100 subs with no video says, bro, I know you ignoring me. I'm not ignoring you, but you just wasted your potential question with a statement that really didn't apply. So GG, 100 subs with no videos, GG. A-Tupin, dollar super chat. I appreciate that, A-Tupin. Good to see you. And hopefully you're doing well. Ali499, dude, Wallpaper Engine from Steam, you're missing out. Are you spamming that? I don't feel like I've already read that. Okay. Let's see. Joseph Cano, hello. What's going on, Joseph? Good to see you. Sweet bro, GTX 1650. Already kind of talked about it earlier in the chat. A-Tupin says, LOL, free super chat. Thank you again, A-Tupin. I appreciate it. I think we're going to play PUBG after this. Will was in the chat briefly, so if you want to ball up on PUBG, then join the Discord. Takes 2 seconds. It's free. You don't have to contribute other than just play games. It's totally fine. But we do have a really pleasant, for the most part, contributing audience. Every now and then we have issues, but what can you do? People are going to be dumb on the internet sometimes. But there's a good community in the Discord, and it's not super toxic, which is nice. People are going to be opinionated. That's fine. I had somebody rip on my last video I was reading something about how I shouldn't have recommended Dell Optiplex refurbished from Newegg. I should have just bought them on eBay or whatever. You can get them super cheap. Look, I'm not claiming this is the cheapest way to do it. I'm just telling you what I did and the performance I got out of it. So I always encourage you guys to do due diligence and search every site that you're comfortable searching to find the best deal on the product in question. I usually link Amazon and Newegg because those are tied to our affiliate accounts, and that does help. But past that, it's kind of on you to search for the best of the best. I felt comfortable buying the Optiplex on Newegg refurbished because it came with Windows 10 Pro. It was a clean system, and it was ready to go right out of the box. So that was my justification for it. But would I do it again? Yeah, I would. Doesn't mean that my opinion's wrong. You see what I'm saying? So people are going to, that's fine. All of that's allowed. I'm not going to censor anything like that. If you don't agree with something I said in the video, that's fine. I encourage you to voice it. But that's stuff like that happens too. People talk about the videos they see, about their personal experiences. That's good. I encourage that. And that's stuff you can do in the Discord. You can share pics of your build. You can, again, play games with us. Yeah, we have voice chats, so we all hang out and we'll play one big custom match of PUBG or whatever. Let's see. Terabyte Crafting says, play Doom or Last Day on Earth. I play Doom when I benchmark, but that's really the extent that I play Doom. Doom is a very smooth and well-optimized game. I really like the way Doom plays. I Am Groot says, so many deals lately, and that is right. You know why there's so many deals? Because the new stuff's coming out soon. That's when you know. That's your telltale sign. All right, one more question. Give me one more good stuff. I'm going to read the super chat first because Mike A says, how's the frivolous lawsuit? So you're the fifth question to ask that. I appreciate the super chat, but I'm not going to talk much more about it at this point because I think what's said and done is already done, and we have to wait for the courts to decide on the motion to dismiss. If you want more updates, follow me on Twitter. That's where I post most of them. Okay, one more question here. Let's see. Mean Eric the Red says, have you ever been annoyed by people repeating their question, asking to make sure I don't annoy you? No, just don't spam it. Don't copy and paste it 20 times, because that'll give you either a timeout or a ban, depending on how good or bad I'm feeling on that particular day. Zeppelin, where's your cat? I already held her up earlier in the live stream, so you got to rewind. Let's see here. Okay, I'll answer 100 subs with no videos question. What are your PC specs? Depends on which PC you're talking about. The one that I'm using right now has a Core i9 9900K in it, Z390 Designaire from Gigabyte, 16 gigs of Corsair DOM Plats, RTX 2080 Aorus, and then PC11 dynamic case, EVGA, P2 1000 watt power supply, some Corsair fans, 120mm fans, along with the Corsair H150i Pro RGB. So there's everything. Ace Combat 7. Heck yeah, I love that game. I love Ace Combat. I played Ace Combat 4 a ton on PlayStation, on the PS. What was it? PlayStation 2? Yeah, back in the day. And yeah, I really enjoy Ace Combat. And Ace Combat 7 rocked. I was so amped for it. I kept seeing it being previewed in the PSN, on the PlayStation Store, the Play Store, whatever you call it. And I was like waiting. I was like, come on, let me download this thing so I can play it. I beat the whole game in like 2 days. Like, I freaking no-lifed it. It was so fun. And then it also came bundled with the Ace Combat 5, which I'd never played before. Not as fun, but still nice. Nice that it came with that. A Tupin, that is considered spamming. If I see more than like 2 or 3 posts on my page at a time, that's probably spamming. Just probably. The captain asked what my degree was in. So I have 2 degrees. One of them was a degree in petroleum engineering, and the other degree is a master's in business administration. And they're both from the University of Louisiana. All right, you guys are awesome. We'll spam in that Discord server. If you guys are ready to play some PUBG or something of the like, join Discord. You can see it there linked. And God, the way Will worded that, PUBG game with Tickle Greg Science Studio. Why did you? Anyway, yeah, join the Discord. There's our plug, and we're gonna ball up in some PUBG after this. So, and even if you don't want to ball up in PUBG, you can still chat with me and others in the Discord server. It is, again, very enjoyable in there, and a lot of good stuff happens, a lot of good chatter, a lot of opinions. I encourage that stuff. So we're going to sign out. Thank you guys for watching the live stream. You have been awesome, and a new video coming out Tuesday. It's going to be a good one. I think you will enjoy it. That's all for now.